Let me switch gears and talk to you about Obamacare because that is going to be a big topic of discussion when Congress comes back in a couple of weeks. You support the defunding of Obamacare, but you have recently acknowledged that you don't believe that it's going to happen. It won't get through the Senate. Your only lever then to defund Obamacare may be to not approve the continuing resolution or one that includes funding. That would shut down the government, which you have stated publicly you don't think is a good idea. So what do you really have left here, Senator?
Well, I don't think shutting down the government is a good idea, but I do think that conservatives were elected to try to stop this overreach, this government takeover of health care. It's not going to be good for the American public. I think insurance premiums will rise. I think the people they want to help, precisely the working class and the poor who don't have insurance, I think still won't have insurance, and they're going to have a penalty. So what I would say is people want us to stand up and fight. I'm willing to stand up and fight. We should use the leverage of controlling 1/3 of the government. We don't control all of the government, but Republicans control the House of Representatives. They should stand up, use that power to, at the very least, make this law less bad, delay it, do something we can to protect the American public from this law. Or if we do nothing, we're just saying to the president, hey, you get your way. But that's not really what the government's about. When the government's divided, we should use the leverage of controlling at least part of government to try to get the law more to our liking.
You've talked about trying to pass a bill to defund Obamacare in the House. It wouldn't pass the Senate, and you try to come up with some sort of compromise in conference that might delay implementation of the individual mandate. But there are plenty of bills that have gone to conference that have not worked out in the end. There is no compromise, and so the law is enacted as it is. Do you think that is going to happen in this case?
You know, I don't know. I think there's always a great desire not to shut the government down, and you use that desire to try to get a compromise. And I think ultimately you could, in conference committee, either make the law less bad or delay the individual mandate or delay the whole thing. Even the president is very concerned about this law because he's delaying the employer mandate because he's concerned maybe about what it'll happen in the elections when it is seen that insurance premiums go up and actually there are more problems than there are benefits.
You have said that you would not vote for a continuing resolution in the Senate if it includes funding for Obamacare. But even if you don't vote for it, it'll likely pass the Senate. But if your colleagues in the House did exactly the same thing, as you suggest you would, that would shut down the government because the resolution wouldn't pass, which might lead some people to wonder if you're trying to have it both ways while the House has to have it one way.
Well, I think what would happen is if the House voted to defund Obamacare, it would come to the Senate. I think the Senate would approve Obamacare funding. It would go to conference committee, and then I think a compromise would be achieved. But it's only achieved if the House stands up, uses and asserts their belief that Obamacare is a bad law and will hurt people. And if they stand up and are strong, then I think the strength of that leverage would be used to achieve a compromise. But if we announce defeat in advance, as some had, then that destroys the effort that we're trying to do. But there are many conservatives like myself standing up and saying, look, Obamacare is going to be a disaster for the country. And as I travel around Kentucky and around the country, people come up to me and they say, stand firm, stand up, try to stop this monstrosity because it's going to be bad for the country.
Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid was recently asked at a Nevada Public Broadcasting System program if the ultimate goal of Obamacare was to move to a single-payer system. He responded, according to Forbes magazine, yes, yes, absolutely yes. If the Senate Majority Leader tried to move Obamacare to a single-payer system, what would your response be?
Well, you know, I think it's amazing sometimes when politicians are forthright. He's admitted now that that is their goal. People have to think about it. The goal of single payer, that may well mean that everybody in the country gets Medicaid. And if you're excited about going on Medicaid, then you need to vote with Harry Reid and with the president. But I think it's a bad idea. 85% of us had health insurance. We should have tried to fix the system for the 15% who didn't, instead of destroying it for everybody in the country who actually had good health insurance. Our main concern was the price rising. The president did nothing about prices rising. He's actually made insurance more expensive because of his mandates and making the insurance cover more items.